I first heard the name James McAvoy when he was playing the young Charles Xavier in the X-Men franchise, and I know some about the X-Men franchise, but not a lot. But lo and behold, I discovered that he gives a commanding performance in Split. Writer, director, producer M. Night Shyamalan returns with an original thriller that delves into the mysterious recesses of one man's fractured, gifted mind. Bill Kevin has revealed 23 personalities to a psychiatrist. There's one that still remains submerged, who is set to materialize and dominate all the others. Compelled to abduct three young girls, Kevin reaches a war for survival among all those who contained within him, as well as everyone around him, as the walls between his compartments shatter apart. 2017, rated PG-13. This one is, of course, the sequel to what I just watched the other day, which is eluding me, Unbreakable. This is the origin of the super villain, and what a story it is. Of course, this is it's not a pretty movie. It's a realistic, like it was said, this is a realistic, super villain movie. And when you see McAvoy on screen, he just outright steals the show. I mean, it is so intense. I mean, he is so just when you look at him on the screen, how he's able to just perform so many roles. One that's smart, one that has a childlike mind, one that's kind of a leader and everything else. It's just how he can switch between all of them. And you just look at him and you're like, he should have been awarded it. He should have had some awards coming to him in between his times of playing on the X-Men and then going into some, I forget, whatever movie he was at that time. So it's like, give this man a dang medal. You know, it's like, this is such good stuff. Of course, with all the movies taking place underground, it's like you feel claustrophobic, and it's just so. I don't know, man. This movie is just so good, but it's also a very slow burn at the same time. It's an hour and 57 minutes. This movie is tense. Just the way how these three girls are just down in this area, like, it's claustrophobic, but in a good way. It's I guess you could say, what would happen if Alfred Hitchcock yet again directed a supervillain's story, you know? And what if he gave the villain dissociative identity disorder, right? Give them all their screen time, give them each their own performance, all from the same actor. And like if Anthony Perkins from Psycho were to portray that would be the closest, you know. And it works so well, because it's like, I don't know, it's like you see the girl's desperation to try and escape what they're trying to do with many ways, escaping through a ceiling in a action movie cliche way, using a coat hanger to try and escape, and just trying to survive, man. But of course there's also a psychologist who's figuring out what's going on, like when she's giving a conference on mood disorder or something like that. And it's actually when she talks about, hey, maybe there are like 23 different people, could two personalities at the same time combine and create something? It's like, yes, I did have a person years ago who did that, and it was just so brilliant. This lady who plays Karen Fletcher, the psychologist, Betty something, I forgot, does such a good job of labeling everything, being understanding, but at the same time somehow able to deal with all 23 different personalities. It was something else. And of course, Taylor-Joy, or whatever her name was. Whatever, yeah. Oh wait, where she goes on the computer and sees all the personalities exhibiting their own, like, recording their own journals and everything. It's like this was so. It's like this movie portrays enough for you to give an exact understanding of what's going on, but at the same time, it keeps you guessing as to what the outcome will be. But this movie does have a good, consistent, slow, tense feel, and I like that. There were a couple times where I was looking like, okay, how far are we in? Alright, an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 37 minutes. Whatever. No big deal. I'm just like, okay, just get through it and just cut this review and just see what happens with Glass. That's next. It's like, obviously you can tell that there is the different personalities here. We got one who got this, we got the childlike one, and you can just kind of infer what's going on. Of course, it gets a little bit kind of towards the end of taking down this 24th, like dealing with the 24th personality, and just what goes through with being a supervillain. It's, yeah. Yeah, like I said, there's barely any music. And here it's makes things just fantastic. Anyway, some trivia about this. This was based on Billy, I forgot whose last name it was, that had multiple personality disorder. He lived from 1953 to 2014. He had like roughly the same amount, including 10 that kind of stood out, and when they fused, they became the teacher. So this was and when the what was this? The people who are afflicted with dissociative identity disorder receive this poorly, saying like, "Oh, this is not how we feel about it," and it's like this is going to skew the public perception of it. And yes, I do. And like, yeah, I can see where that's coming from. The average person is not going to get it. There is a lot more to it than just what Shyamalan portrays on the film. So this is one of those do your own research and figure it out from there, and don't judge like that, So that's what I got and interpreted from it, So it's just very intense. This was right after around when the filming for X-Men Apocalypse happened. So McAvoy had some very stubble for hair, so that kind of comes and gives it to the uncomfortable factor of what was happening. And M. Night Shyamalan actually talked to him, so that McAvoy was soft-spoken or whatever, got the part, made it all work out, which was pretty interesting, really interesting. Of course, he actually injured his hand because he thought he was going to punch through like a soft door or whatever. But it turns out that was a metal door, so his fist went in. He continued working on the film set until he said, "Yeah, I kind of have to go because I injured my hand or whatever." So it was like, dang. So, yeah, I guess if there were any drawbacks, like I said, some people in the DID community may saw this as a poor representation of it. Some people may get bored by the length and, with not too much happening, because I'm at maybe almost 2 hours. I didn't get bored, but I was waiting for something to happen. And, it feels like this movie is, at the same time, it's like this movie is also post-transhumanism or post-humanism that you always hear about leaving the vessels of which our bodies, our souls, or whatever, are contained in, and ascending to a higher station in life. There was that type of theme or motif going on, and that was actually very interesting to see. So it's just interesting. They're Shyamalan wanted to try and get this movie out some time ago, but because Breakable was a Rhymes with Risney production, it came to him and some I will not say the name of the company. I refuse to support them. Disney had a gentleman's agreement with that. Bruce Willis would appear in a cameo at the end to say Mr. Glass, and then Disney would have a production with would help in production with Glass. So there is that. So yeah, definitely I do recommend that if you want to see a great thriller that kind of deals with a super villain's origin story, then I highly recommend you watch James McAvoy perform greatly in Split.